So, hello, everyone. Yeah, so wow, it seems to come around so quickly, doesn't it, that we're back to looking at the astrology of the fourth gate today. So we're following the morning star phase. This is just a bit of a rerun of where we are. So we're following the morning star phase. So this is Venus descending into the underworld, and we literally see the star up in the sky in the morning. So if you're looking at the night sky, you're not seeing Venus right now. You will see her in the early morning. And as the time goes on, she'll get like closer and closer to the horizon, and eventually she'll disappear for the next Venus star point in June. So we're kind of halfway through the journey. So the actual Venus Moon conjunction is going to be on Saturday, the 9th of December. From 8 till 10 Pacific is when we'll meet, which is 4 to 6 p.m. in the UK. And we're going to have a really special one because Daniela is going to lead us in this one. And Cynthia, hopefully you're going to be doing your chakra meditation, whatever you want to do as well. And I will do something too to kind of open the ceremony. And this is our opportunity really to feel into, through a creative process, what this energy means for us personally, so we can know this is the bigger picture, but what issues is this going to bring forth for us? Okay, so wow, just reflecting on this gene key. So it's at 5 degrees Scorpio, 40 minutes. So the beginning of Scorpio, which is the underworld sign of the zodiac. So this is a really powerful, deep gate when we hit the Scorpio gate. And I was quite excited, really, because it's gene key 28, line 5, sorry. So gene key 28 is one I'm very familiar with. I have it twice in my profile. And it leads from purposelessness to totality to immortality. Now, if I was to choose one gene key that for me embodies the Inanna journey, it would be this one, because the whole point of meeting Ereshkigal, our dark sister, through this process is to experience that state of totality, which is basically to accept all the parts of ourselves that have been repressed, that we're ashamed of. You know, maybe for me, the parts I often find shame around are very emotional young parts that come up. I'm like, I don't want to be like that, you know, but that is who I am. So it's kind of like this ever-increasing acceptance and self-love of these parts, and these parts that need our nurturing, I guess. And then the immortality, this is my third time following a full Venus cycle. And this is the feeling that I get from following Venus, is the feeling of immortality, that we go on this descent into the underworld. And then as we ascend, it is like we become just like whole and connected to the universe. And through this feeling connected to the universe, we feel the sense of our immortal soul that is traveling through time, space, and also, like, I feel so much that we have been priestesses in other cultures and lifetimes, and our energies have, we're in the same fractal, basically, that has drawn us together, and our unique energies kind of work together. So I've always had a lot to do with death in my life. Although my dad is the first person really close to me to die, I've worked in mental health for many years. I had my own mental health issues that I kind of came through and continue really to come through. But it's just reflecting on time with Adam in my life is interesting because he has the 28 as his purpose, and I have it as my IQ and my pearl. And we've had a lot to do with death since we've been together. So his partner died, actually the same day this Venus Moon thing started. On the 20th of December 2021 is when we began the 40-day retrograde, and she actually died that day, and I had this amazing contact with her. So it's been this strange kind of journey between life and death, this relationship. And then he had this hospital admission where there's a couple of days where he was very, very ill. And then there still continues to be things in the field right now, which I won't share about, because they're not clear yet what's happening. But this kind of constantly having to face the fear of death. And this is what the 28 is all about. It's facing the fear of death, which is our greatest fear. And so when we face this fear of death, then it releases so much energy in us, actually. And so, I find this around money, around relationships, that this is, if I've learned one thing on this journey, it's that I just need to keep facing the fear. The fear isn't going to kill me. But the fear feels daily sometimes, it feels like horrible. I just want to escape from it. But I don't know. I think with this gene key, I don't think there is an escape. But when you stick with the fear, eventually it's like quite interesting processes start to happen, like the release of energy, I'd say, like vitality. I've been getting into the Gene Key 58 this week, and that's all about the release of vitality when you face your fears. So really kind of feeling that one. Okay, so that's my own sort of last year of 28 intensity. So it's interesting that we're meeting this one at the heart level, facing our fear, our biggest fears, really. And we can do it. We can do it. We are doing it. Okay, so here's my fancy new Canva thing I've been creating, which I can't get to play right now. I'm going to figure out how to play it properly as a thing. But okay, so it's the Venus Moon, it's the 4th Heart Gate, the descent of Inanna into the underworld. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. This is going to be fun. Okay, so I was so excited when I saw this. So I did the human design chart on this. And it's actually the cross of rulership, which myself, Laurie, and Pat have this cross of rulership. And I often feel that the three of us are this sort of cauldron of transformation, and everyone else's energies are supporting that process of transformation. And okay, let me just close that. So we have the sun is going to be in 26 line 1, and the earth in 45 line 1. Design sun in 47 line 3, and design earth in 22 line 3. So what we can see here is that Venus is in 28 line 5. This is just a little bit past when the actual conjunction takes place. So the moon's now in the 44, but earlier in the day, it's conjuncts Venus at 28 line 5, and that's what creates this exact portal that we are going to be working with. And this is the 9th of December, so it's not today, it's the 9th, next Saturday. Okay, so here is the normal chart. One of the things that sort of jumps out at me with this is that we have this beautiful trine in the water element. So the water element is about our emotional astral body. So it feels like there's a lot of healing available through the grand trine in water as we go through this gate. So we have Saturn there in Gene Key 55 with the siddhi, the gift and siddhi of freedom. And here we're moving out of the mindset of victimization, you know, that kind of despair. I can't do anything about this. I'm a victim of circumstance. And Gene Key 55 is pushing us to find our inner creator, our inner healer that is able to free us from these shadow states. Here we have the moon and Venus at 5 Scorpio 41 minutes. So this is the Venus 4th gate here. And we have Pallas Athena conjunct that. So this is Gene Key 28 line 5, which I've just been talking about before. And over here, we have Vesta, who's at 2 degrees Cancer 45 minutes. So this is Gene Key 52, which is the mountain over mountain. And it's all about this very stable energy of stillness. Another one that's interesting, because I know quite a few of us have Gene Key 47, is that Juno, goddess of the sacred marriage, is beginning a transit of the 47th Gene Key. So this whole Venus cycle and the one before actually have been very much connected with the inner masculine, feminine, the inner alchemy. And here we have a key point where Juno enters the 47 and the transmuting of, you know, things that are out of balance with the masculine, feminine. In mythology, Jupiter or Zeus was kind of constantly unfaithful to Juno and disrespected her. And she would become enraged with like jealousy and turn all these beings like Io and different ones into different things. So she tended to take it out on the females, Juno did. So there's lots of kind of karmic, sticky issues that to be transfigured there. And that's going to be conjunct my sun. So I'm quite interesting to see what's going to happen on that day. Okay, so mother and child healing. Let me just go back a bit, because Ceres and Mars and the sun are still traveling together. So this has been going on for a good couple of weeks now. And we have the mother in Ceres, and we have essentially the male child, but within us, our EQ is Mars as well. So yeah, so we obviously have our inner male child as well, and this is the part of us that kind of takes action in the world, that is fearless. So we want this to come online. Okay, let me go back here. So this is mother-child healing, is a big theme again. And this feels like everything I'm looking at in astrology, everything keeps pointing back, and in my own life, in this relationship, I keep having to mother and father my inner child, or be kind of ripped apart in insecurity. You know, it's like I don't feel like I have any choice but to do this healing work right now. Okay, so we're going to be doing more on Medea, who is she's the niece of Circe, another sorceress. So we will go more deeply into her and her energies, but the thing I'm immediately struck by in her story is that someone puts a spell on Medea for her to fall in love with this hero, Jason. And as a result of the spell and falling in love with this mortal being, Jason, she's human as well, but her ancestry is otherworldly. So she's a lot like us. Circe is a lot more otherworldly. Medea feels like the human link to the otherworldly for me. So she does all these things for Jason. You know, she's so in love with him, and he, though, is not as in love with her, and he uses her really, and it all goes horribly wrong, and he ends up with somebody else eventually. And she actually kills all their children. So she must have been very pissed off, you can imagine, for her to do that. So she represents actually similar to Juno, like the rage of jealousy and being not respected, being cast aside, not being honored. You know, in mythology, we sometimes see women having this rage in a particular way and taking vengeance, not necessarily on the right people, though. You know, the men hardly ever get it. It's the woman and the children. So there's a mythical pattern we can begin to address straight away. But I quite like this picture of Medea with her black cat, and she's got some kind of terrible potion there going on. So I'm thinking of Medea as like family relationship karma. That's her immediate kind of impact on me with this. You know, she kind of falls in love with this mortal, but he's not very kind to her, really. Okay, so a little bit on Gene Key 28. The line 5 is a collective line. So it's all about the kind of the influence. So it's the heart chakra, so maybe this is about the influence of love. It'd be interesting to see what you feel about it. So I just pulled out some little bits from the Gene Keys book. The most common way of avoiding your fear of death is to adopt a fixed mental philosophy and then live within that philosophy rather than living with your fear. These philosophies are religions, beliefs, sciences, and systems, anything that becomes dogma for you and numbs your fear. The human mind does not like surprises. To live in the continual acceptance of death means to live with the continual threat of the unexpected. The human mind would have you believe that your life purpose lies in the future rather than here and now. So you keep postponing your life until you meet all your fears face to face at the end. You must look deeply into your fears now in order to find your purpose, because your purpose actually lies within your fears. This is why in the great mystical traditions, it is said that you must die before you can live. So it's interesting it's talking about purpose, because if you're doing the rebirth sequence, we're about to hit the final sphere, which is our purpose sphere. as well. So yeah, I think that just sums it up for me. And what I perceive with the Venus journey, what I love about it is like every single Venus journey is different. The gates are always different. You know, no two people in thousands and thousands of years have ever made this journey in the same way. And we're here having this unique experience of this Venus journey. And I love that. You know, I love the potential for aliveness that we can have with living with Venus, because she asks us not to try and pin things down, not to try and make everything safe, but to actually live in this field of not knowing and finding the trust and the integrity within our bodies to be able to kind of move in this flow of the dance of the ecosystem and nature, rather than trying to control everything with our minds. Okay, so final little bit. So this was interesting. I haven't read Gene Key 28 for a while, but a couple of weeks ago we did St. Michael, Lucifer, and Lempo, who's a Finnish goddess who was demonized in Christianity. So I thought this was very interesting. So the Inanna process precedes Christianity by a good few thousand years. But here we have the same kind of mythical story we find in the Christian tradition, which many of us would be from. So in Christian mythology, the embodiment of fear is expressed through the Antichrist, Lucifer, the embodiment of evil. There are some curious secrets hiding within this myth. The destiny of Lucifer at a mythic level is actually to become one with the Godhead. Lucifer was originally the favorite and strongest of God's angels. In mythology, the strongest is always chosen to fall and forget her true nature. This is the higher mythic meaning behind betrayal. This wonderful anthropomorphism contains the great secret of the meaning of evil and the dark side itself. Evil is simply everything about life that has not yet been accepted and embraced. The only misinterpretation of the old legends is seen in the battles between good and evil, in which good triumphs. The ancient symbols and images of dragons being killed is a projection from the 28th shadow. In the end, the Archangel Michael, who represents good, must embrace Lucifer in his arms rather than killing him. Only in this way can he fulfill the myth by transmuting Lucifer's true essence into a force even higher than himself, thus revealing Lucifer as God himself. This is how the Christian myth should really read. Many other more ancient myths from other cultures also describe the very same dynamic. So these are Richard Rudd's words from the Gene Keys. Right, so that is my that's my little presentation for today. So I'm very curious to see your responses to that. I've mentioned a few Gene Keys 28, 47. It's definitely another one to do with death. But also this idea of like the 58, vitality or energy being released by our facing down of fear. Yeah, so I'm going to stop recording and open the